Kalkalosh Boker Tov, we're just continuing with Halachot of Shabbat. Yesterday we were speaking about the entire concept of making a Tanai, making a condition in the Shutafut, in the partnership between the Goy and the Jew, between the non-Jew and the Jew, about how you're allowed to have a business which is going to be operating on Shabbat or not if you're in a partnership. Now here it's actually brought down in the Halacha that this is even if a person is going to come and he's going to say Mefurash, that he does not have any part meaning like this. If right now he comes and he says, I have nothing to do with the day of the Shabbat, even if he's not going to say afterwards actual words, right, that he wants nothing to do or what's going to happen with the prophets or whether the prophets are a lot or a little, the second that the Jew comes at the beginning of the partnership and he says, I don't want to have anything to do with the day of the Shabbat, it's already going to be okay and there's no problem whatsoever. Now he doesn't have to, the Jew does not have to work on a fixed day during the week. So for example, the Jew says at the beginning of the partnership, you get Shabbat and I get another day. He doesn't have to take, for example, every Sunday. He could be another day of the week. So for example, this week I'm going to take Sunday, next week I'm going to work on Monday, the other week I'm going to work on Tuesday or Wednesday, the other week back to Sunday. It doesn't have to be fixed. As long as it's always going to be that one of the days is fixed, that I'm taking parallel to the Shabbat, it's going to be okay. Now we have to make sure that this is going to be done, written down. This means that this contract cannot just be done something as a like just balpeh, orally. No. The beginning has to be done with a contract, and there's contracts written how to do this exactly, which means that at the beginning, the onset of the partnership, you're already making sure that you have nothing to do with the day of the Shabbat. And if you're just doing it just to cheat the system, obviously it does not work. So that's going to be very, very important. Now another one is that what does this help now? Now this actually helps in all different types of businesses, unless it's impossible to know how much you make on Shabbat. What happens, for example, if it's not impossible, but it's a little bit difficult, which means you came at the beginning, right, and you said, listen, I'm going to take, let's say every single Sunday, or I'm going to take another day of the week, and you're taking the Shabbat. They come, they sit down after the month, and they want to take out the Revachim, they want to take out the prophets, and all of a sudden they realize it's very, very complicated. So if it's very complicated, the Goy doesn't care, so therefore you're allowed to actually take Shaveh b'Shaveh. You're allowed to take equal with the Goy. Why? Since your intention from the beginning was, and you actually told it to him, and you wrote it down, that you have nothing to do with the Shabbat. And now when it comes to Halacha l'Maaseh, he comes and he says, you know what? Fine, just take Shaveh. It's too difficult for me to come and start writing it down, taking down. Nowadays, it became very, very easy with the systems of the computers. In 2 seconds, you find out how many sales did you make on Shabbat, how many sales you made. In the olden days, it's very difficult. They didn't have a tally every single night. They would do it every few days or every few things or every week, whatever it was, to find out how much inventory, how much did they sell. Nowadays, everything's computerized, so it's much easier to find out. But in the olden days, it was much more difficult. So if it was going to be like that, and now they wanted to divide it, so therefore it would be okay to divide it. Another case which is actually very, very important would be is that what happens if you went and you made the partnership and the Goy at the beginning was supposed to have the store closed because that was your deal. We only work during the week. All on Saturdays we're always closed. And all of a sudden now the Goy comes and he's going to open up. If it's going to be in such a case that the Goy is going to open up in such a case then, so therefore he comes and he says, you could be mekel, that even according to the Sfaradim, that you could take part of the profits, right, and there's no problem. He says as long as you have to be careful that he's taking one of the days and he's taking a ba'avla'ah. Ba'avla'ah means that it's going to be absorbed in the rest, which means you cannot just come and say, I'm taking Shabbat. You can't take schar on Shabbat. It has to be done ba'avla'ah, which means it's Shabbat and Sunday and Monday together, so therefore it's all like one package. And I'm not specifying how much it was specifically just on the Shabbat. So again, there's obviously much more details. We'll try to just go for a few and then we'll continue from the Halachot B'ezrat Hashem from then.